We field a lot of questions from employers about the Americans with Disabilities Act, and this has become especially true since the somewhat recent amendments to the ADA. And those amendments really broadened the scope of what a disability is under the statute. So unless you have an employee coming to you with something like a common cold or a sprained ankle or seasonal flu, something like that, which would 99% of the time not be considered a disability under the Act, employers really need to make the assumption that they are required to move forward with their obligations under the ADA. So what happens a lot of times is employers come to us and say, well, what exactly do I have to do? When have I done enough under the interactive process, to meet my obligations? And what I mean by the interactive process is when an employee comes, to an employer and either explicitly says, I need an accommodation in order to, perform the functions of my position, or if the employer just has enough information that it makes it obvious to them that this employee has some sort of a medical condition, that may possibly be a disability and that they need some sort of help in order to perform their position. That triggers the employer's requirement and obligations to engage in the interactive process. So the most frequent concern that employers have in dealing with this issue is, what do I do with any given request by an employee? And it can be really difficult sometimes for the employer to deal with because it's really fact intensive. Every employee has different medical condition, and one particular employee's problems with, for example, MS, for instance, may really differ with another employee's issues with MS. And also, every workplace is different, and that can be true even within the same company. You may have a manufacturing facility, and then you may have an office facility. So taking all those things into account when determining how to go about engaging in this interactive process can make it really difficult for employers. There are some things the employers can do every time when they're faced with this situation. Employers should really avoid pretending to be doctors or trying to step in the shoes of an employee's physician. Unless you have an MD, you're not the person that can necessarily make a decision about what an employee may physically be able to do on any given day. And to really avoid giving opinions about someone's medical limitations. Go into the conversations with a problem-solving approach, with an open mindset. That's the best way to start conversations with employees. And throughout the process, to keep open communication with the employee. If providing X accommodation doesn't work, you don't just scrap it and terminate the employee. The next step is to sit back and decide, okay, what else can we do to see if we can accommodate this employee to make sure he or she can function in their position.